Father returned from the army and saw his daughter being humiliated on the street. His reaction moved everyone. The heat on the city pavement was unforgiving. Humid, cracked roads, noise, dust, shouts echoing off concrete buildings. But none of that registered to Staff Sergeant Malik Johnson. After 2 years overseas, the only thing he cared about was getting home. His boots thudded steadily as he walked through the edge of the city with a heavy military backpack, still strapped to his back. His camo uniform was stained with sweat and time, but he wore it with pride. A folded photo of a smiling little girl, his daughter, was tucked inside his left chest pocket. That photo had kept him alive through mortars, sandstorms, and loneliness. He'd written to her every week, but he hadn't seen her since she was 5. She was supposed to be with Ms. Darlene, the woman he'd left her with when his wife passed away. He had no family left. Ms. Darlene had promised she'd be safe, cared for. He trusted her until now, because as he rounded the corner near the open market, the crowd ahead wasn't clapping or welcoming him. They weren't waving flags or saluting him. They were gathering, drawn to a tense scene unfolding in the middle of the road. He heard a voice, a woman shrieking, "Don't you touch her. Don't play the hero here. This brat tried to sneak behind my stall, probably looking for scraps. Dirty little thief." A little girl sat curled on the ground, barefoot, dress ripped and clinging to her skin, sobbing so hard her whole chest heaved. Her arms were crossed tightly over her body. Her hair was tangled, her skin streaked with tears and dust. Malik's heart stopped. It was her. Naomi. He couldn't feel the bag on his back anymore. He didn't feel the sun or the stairs or the woman's venom-laced voice. All he felt was a rush of blood in his ears as he moved toward his daughter. The white woman standing over her looked like a furious storm, blonde hair frizzed from rage. Green dress stretched across her trembling form and her finger pointed like a weapon straight at the girl. She had no idea who he was as he stepped between them. "Move!" she snapped, not even looking up. "I already called the guards. And don't get in the way. I saw her trying to snatch fruit right off my stall. Kids like this are a disease. That's my daughter." Miles' voice didn't tremble. It didn't rise. It cut through the air like steel. The woman froze. Only now did she actually see the man in front of her. Dusty boots, fatigue still smelling of sand and metal, a nameplate on his chest, and eyes filled with something more dangerous than fury. Control. The crowd stilled. Someone began recording on their phone. She was alone, the woman stammered. She looked like a vagrant, filthy, crying, wandering around the street like I said she's my daughter. Malik knelt slowly. Naomi flinched at first, but then through the tears she looked up, and when she saw his face, something broke. "Daddy." She threw her arms around him. He wrapped her in both arms, ignoring the shocked gasps, ignoring the way her tiny hands gripped the fabric of his uniform as if she'd never let go again. He didn't say another word to the woman, didn't scream, didn't explain because he didn't owe anyone performance. All he did was stand up with Naomi still holding tight to his shoulder, her legs wrapped around his waist. His backpack was still on, so was the weight of everything he had carried. But she was home now, and so was he. The woman stepped back as whispers began, circulating through the crowd. "Wait, she's his daughter? He just got back. That kid was living on the street. What happened to the woman who was taking care of her?" Malik didn't look back. He walked down the same broken road, a trail of silence in his path. But behind him, a storm had begun. The apartment was smaller than he remembered. Malik sat on the edge of the old couch, holding Naomi's tiny hand as she lay wrapped in a towel, fast asleep. He'd bathed her, fed her, and dressed the wounds on her knees. Malik sat on the bathroom floor, gently dabbing the antiseptic on Naomi's scraped knees. She winced, but didn't pull away. "Did anyone ever try to help you?" he asked softly. Naomi hesitated, then shook her head. "They looked at me, but no one saw me," she whispered. That line pierced deeper than any wound. He felt a lump in his throat, but swallowed it down. He had cried enough overseas. Now wasn't the time for tears. It was time for healing. He pressed a kiss to her forehead. "I see you now," he said, "and I'm never looking away again. But the real pain that was deeper, the kind that doesn't bleed, he hadn't stopped shaking. She had clung to him the whole walk home, murmuring, "Daddy, Daddy," like she was afraid it wasn't real. And he still couldn't believe what he'd found. His daughter, the girl he left behind with every hope, every doll he had, living on the street in rags, being screamed at by a stranger. He had questions, and by morning he would get answers. Malik marched into the office a child. Services the next day, still wearing his uniform. A social worker looked up and froze. "I'm here about my daughter," he said, setting down a stack of documents, deployment orders, letters, wire transfer receipts, everything. "I sent money every month," he said. "Ms. Darlene promised she'd care for Naomi while I was gone." The woman's face palled. They pulled the file. What they found shattered him. Ms. Darlene had taken the first few payments, but after 3 months, the system marked Naomi unaccounted for. A report had been filed late, stating the girl had run away. No investigation, no follow-up, just a closed case, lost in bureaucracy. She had been missing for 9 months. 9 months alone on the street in the cold, and no one told him. That evening, the video surfaced posted by a witness from a marketplace. It showed the white woman screaming at Naomi, the child crying, and Malik calmly stepping in, not as a soldier, not as a fighter, but as a father. The internet reacted like fire to gasoline. She humiliated a veteran's daughter. The girl was called a thief, but she was just waiting for her dad to come home. No father should return to this. Mal refused interviews, but people showed up anyway. Neighbors brought food. Strangers offered help. A local veterans group started a fundraiser to support him and Naomi. Within 72 hours, thousands had signed petitions demanding accountability for the woman in the video and for the officials who failed to report the child's disappearance. Still, Malik remained silent. He only wanted one thing: peace for his daughter. Weeks later, a community event was held to honor returning soldiers. Malik was invited as a guest of honor. He didn't want to go, but Naomi tugged on his sleeve and said, "Do I get to wear a dress this time?" That was enough. She wore a light green dress and little white shoes. Her hair was neatly brushed, and her shy smile returned. On stage, Malik didn't prepare a speech. He just looked out at the crowd and said, "My daughter survived the streets without anyone to protect her. That's not a city problem. That's a human one. So don't clap for me, clap for her." The crowd stood. Even the mayor had tears in his eyes. Today, Naomi is safe. She has her father, her home, her laughter. The woman who accused her issued a public apology and was removed from her position after an official review. The world moved on, but Malik never forgot the image of his daughter barefoot, shaking, surrounded by silence and cruelty. And every time he tucks her in now, he whispers the same words: "You're home, baby girl." And no one will ever raise a hand or a voice at you again, because sometimes the quietest reactions leave the loudest echoes. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales. And let us know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? We love hearing from all of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.